The Bank of Canada held its benchmark interest rate steady at 2.75% for a third straight decision. The central bank says the Canadian economy is showing signs of resilience in the face of tariffs from the United States, but U.S. trade policy remains unpredictable. Economist and professor Dr. Moshe Lander joined us to unpack the Bank of Canada's decision.
Dr. Lander, thank you so much for the time today.
My pleasure.
Now, what's the reasoning behind keeping the rate steady?
There's really nothing that justifies a rate cut. Certainly nothing that justifies a rate increase. If you look at the inflation numbers in Canada, they're still in the 1% to 3% range that the Bank of Canada wants, and that we've had for the better part of the last 30 years. Core inflation, which strips out food and energy, is a little bit towards the high end. If that were the only bit of news in the Canadian economy, we might even be talking about, is there an interest rate increase? But if you take a look at GDP, it's flat to falling. We still have a trade war going on. We don't have an agreement yet. All of those things might necessitate a rate cut. So when you start to balance these things out, it's, well, we're going to meet again in September. So why don't we just hold and let's see more data and make a decision then?
And what are the major factors that play for the next rate decision?
Well, we're hopefully going to have a trade deal by then. It's kind of comical that we're all obsessed on this trade deal, given that we have a free trade agreement. So really what's going to happen in the next month is just how much craziness does the Trump administration want to inflict on Canada? And how does that start to show up in the data? Let's not forget that we've already gone through about 6 months of tariff talk. And so it's here today, gone tomorrow, double down the next day. At some point, that does start to inflict damage on the economy, even though we haven't seen it yet. But those things take time. And as the Bank of Canada now gears up towards their post-Labor Day meeting, they're going to have another set of data that comes out on the jobs market, inflation, GDP numbers, and that trade deal itself. And that's going to give them a better picture as to what they need to do with interest rates. I know everybody's anxiously waiting for that next cut, but there's really no smoking gun that justifies it yet.
And what would need to happen for rates to go either up or down?
Well, up is easy. You have to have a clear sign that inflation is coming back and that it's persistent. And so I don't think that even when we talk in September that there's a rate increase happening, given that there's no sign of inflationary pressure now. All we're going to have by that September meeting is one more inflation number, even if that thing came in somehow above 3%, which it wouldn't. But even if it did, that would be just one number. The Bank of Canada won't hit the button just on that. As far as a rate cut, we're going to have to see that there's a clear sign that GDP is outright falling. Most recent number was a 0.1% fall. Aggregated over the course of a year, that's about 1.5%, which would be pretty steep, but we only have 1 month's worth of data. So we'd have to see that sustained a little bit more. We'd have to see that the job market is really getting hit hard, and not just in the sectors that are affected by all of this trade talk. So we know that auto workers are losing their jobs, the people working in steel and aluminum are losing their jobs, but that's because of the tariffs. If there's a sign that it's spreading to the broader economy, then that would be the type of thing where the Bank of Canada would say, all right, the economy is clearly in trouble. It needs a little bit of a push here, and a rate cut would help.
Well, Dr. Lander, thank you for breaking that down for us.
Anytime.